right, so the topic that I'll be talking about today is on SoLoMo. The future of digital marketing is here. Can anyone can I get a show of hands, like who actually knows what SoLoMo is, the term SoLoMo? Few hands? And who do not know? Okay, great. So I know that this presentation will be helpful for most of you. So SoLoMo stands for social, location, and mobile, as Tiffany had shared. So social media, mobile media, and location-based media are the three new media technologies, right, to actually help digital marketers reach out to and engage their audiences. So what we're going to discuss today is a few case studies on SoLoMo, as well as how you can actually set up your own SoLoMo presence. So yeah, as for the introduction, I'm Leon. Feel free to connect with me on my email, leon@techsailor.com, as well as my LinkedIn, sg.linkedin. I'll be sending in my slides if you drop me an email. So I'm from Techsailor. We are actually a digital marketing agency based in Singapore, Malaysia, and China. So just a quick question. Can I get a show of hands again? Anyone's checked into this auditorium or this Fusionopolis or whatever? Yeah, a few hands again. Who didn't check in? Okay. Okay. And who here actually uses location services like Facebook check-in, Foursquare, or anything? Okay, great. So let's go through some quick SoLoMo facts and statistics. You all know that Singapore is actually world number one in terms of mobile phone penetration or smartphone penetration. 90% of Singaporeans are shown to be using smartphones in Singapore. That's a world number one. And on Facebook, we have about 2.7 million users in Singapore. That is a whopping 58%. Not extremely high, but basically we rank about in the top 50s. But we are again a world number one when it comes to spending the most time on Facebook. Singaporeans spend an average of 38 minutes on Facebook. In comparison, the Americans, about 20 minutes. And Facebook is saying, we believe every phone should be social. We are going to become a mobile company. And that coming from the biggest social media company, it emphasizes the importance of how we must start embracing mobile and social in this whole SoLoMo spectrum. So basically, when it comes to location-based services, right, we see that 36% of Asia's technology-savvy markets are actually using location services to look for entertainment avenues, look for restaurants. And in Singapore in particular, we hit another world number one by having 63% of respondents in a survey that actually use location services, be it to search for buses, to search for restaurants, and so on and so forth. So let me kind of like go through 4 case studies, right, on creative SoLoMo applications. And yeah, let me just pop up the videos. The very first one I'm going to show you, right, is a tour guide in your phone. So this one is the city of Gothenburg and in Sweden. So we're going to see how this SoLoMo application actually helps tourists.
Sweden's Gothenburg is like most cities in the world. The locals travel cheaply by public transportation, while the tourists use expensive guided tours on buses, boats, and small trains. Silly, we thought. Why pay lots of money for something they can get cheaper from Västtrafik, the company that manages public transportation in Gothenburg? So we invented Tram Sightseeing, a free app that gives tourists guided tours for the price of a tram ticket. This is how it works. The app directs you to your nearest tram stop, tells you what line to get on.
Your tour is about to begin. Take tram 2 to Krokslätt. It will leave in 4 minutes.
And when the tram starts moving, the guided tour begins. The city's sites are geotagged, so a voice tells you about them as they pass outside the window.
The theater Stora Teatern on the right was the first stone building in Vasastaden.
And you can follow your route graphically on your phone. Using satellite navigation, the app always knows where you are. And thanks to its real-time connection with the traffic system, it knows exactly when it's the right time to get off and change to another tram line.
Get off at the next stop. Change to tram 4 to Mölndal. It will leave in 5 minutes.
A tour takes approximately 45 minutes and ends at the stop you started at. Thanks for choosing to travel with us.
So quite amazing, wasn't it? So it's great that we actually have like such tourism applications that's coming up. In future, tourism is going to be redefined. And digital marketing is going to be at the forefront of bringing this to audiences. And the next example that I'm going to share, right, is something called check-in snack out by this company called Granada Pets. Obviously, we're talking about pet food. So you must be thinking, what has pet food got to do with SoLoMo? So check this out.
Granada Pet is one of the innovative leaders of high-premium pet food in Germany. The challenge: creating awareness for the Granada Pet dog food with a slim budget. People enjoy getting something for free, at a check-in at Foursquare, for example, and they do it over and over again. The idea: catch the target group while walking the dog, and use the typical conditioning approach, but now for the masters. The message: check in, snack out. Just check in at the location of the billboard at Foursquare, and the dog food comes out of the dispenser automatically. Plain and simple, without being the major, and no boring voucher. From now on, the dog commands the owner. Act there and check in again, pretty please. With this idea, it was easy to show the dog's high appreciation of the Granada Pet dog food to the owners. It's an easy way to introduce a new brand to the dog community. Achievement: hundreds of billboard visitors generate an additional demand of Granada Pet at the local pet stores, and also post their logins at Foursquare on Facebook. Bow wow! We conditioned the target group to buy Granada Pet for happy dogs.
So you want a dog to be a happy dog? Yep. So basically, right, we can see that this is something that's revolutionary. I could hear a couple of wows while this video was playing. The fact that just by checking in, and then it starts dispensing food for your dog. So how does it actually work? So obviously, right, when people are at the billboard and they check in, there's a system that actually scans at the back that, okay, there's someone who checked in at this billboard, and then they will actually send a signal to the food dispenser to dispense the pet food onto that little container, as you saw just now. So that's exactly how it works. And this wasn't something that costed them a lot. The billboard, a single system, as well as just check-in, which is on people's phones. So again, a simple campaign that gave them 14% rise in sales, and yet is so creative and so innovative. The next one that I'm going to share, right, is something that was seen as a bit freaky. We know that you check in using your phone. Like you go to this place, you pull up your phone, it determines the location, it checks you in. But how about checking in using your face? Let's check out this video.
We asked ourselves, why haven't Facebook check-ins gone mainstream? Check-ins provide a powerful mechanism for businesses to deliver discounts to loyal customers. But few businesses, and even fewer customers, are taking advantage of this. So we set out to evolve the check-in process by creating a seamless method for checking in and getting deals. Face Deals is an automated check-in system using passive facial recognition to notify you of in-store deals that are customized just for you. Cameras have been developed to identify Face Deals participants in a matter of seconds. To get started, log into Facebook and grant Face Deals permission. Next, verify your likeness to complete your profile. When a face is confidently recognized, the deal is set into action. Face Deals dynamically optimizes your deal based on your Facebook-like history and delivers your customized deal to your mobile device, all while checking you in. It's that simple. Face Deals is currently beta testing with select Nashville businesses and will soon roll out in major cities worldwide. Developed by Red Pepper Lab.
Give me a show of hands. Who thinks that was quite freaky? To be honest, I usually get about 50% response when I show that video to how many people actually find it freaky. One person actually told me, I do not want to be known whichever Starbucks I actually end up in. And yeah, sometimes I just do not want to check in, right? But I would say that the answer to this question, right, is really how social context is being evolving, in the next couple of years or even in the years up ahead. Because you will never know how much we will allow privacy, how much leeway we give to privacy. As you can see, we are already a far cry from, like, say, 10 years ago. And now everything we post is like plastering your face beside what you're posting when you post on Facebook. Okay, my last case study is actually on Shopkick. Again, can I get a show of hands? Who have actually heard of or even used Shopkick? Okay, okay, I see one hand. And you probably used it in the United States, right? Because this is not available in Singapore as far as I know. And so Shopkick adds a kick to your shopping experience. So let's see how these guys actually do it using SoLoMo.
I'm here to tell you about one of my favorite apps that helps do what I love to do. It's called Shopkick. You get all this free stuff with it just for shopping. Shopkick gives you rewards at thousands of stores across the country, like Target, Best Buy, Macy's, and here at Toys R Us. Okay, today I'm buying a gift for my 7-year-old niece. Let's go have some fun. Just fire up Shopkick, walk into the store, and collect points just for walking in. I haven't even bought anything yet. It's amazing. Inside the store, Shopkick lets you collect more kicks. The app also shows you the best offers and what other people liked in the store. Oh, this little guy looks like something my niece would love. And now, you can collect kicks on qualifying purchases with your linked Visa credit or debit card with Shopkick's new Buy and Collect program. Just link your card once and then pay as usual with your Visa credit card at participating stores. Everyone uses their kicks in different ways. It just depends what your interests are. Gift cards, movie tickets, fashion, games, or donations to charity. Well, I gotta run. But do yourself a favor. Go to the App Store and try Shopkick. It's free and easy. And those are 2 words everyone loves.
Thanks, Ashley. Did you see what she just did? When Ashley walked through the door of Toys R Us, she immediately got kicks just for walking through the door. And then she walked around the store, and sometimes you can pick up an item, scan it, and get even more kicks for that. And then she walked to the register, and she swiped her regular Visa card, and a few seconds later, she got a message on her phone that she just earned more kicks. For the first time, that is possible. Now, that makes shopping better and more rewarding and more fun.
Okay. So that's like a sneak peek into Shopping 2.0, the future of social shopping, right? So if I were to ask, right, has anyone here actually used like a location-based service or just some social media service to get some perks from shops or merchants? Anyone? Show of hands. Yep, a few hands. So I think that basically it is clearly revolutionizing our shopping experience, revolutionizing our retail experience. So this is Shopkick. Okay. Now, I shall move on to something that's about 4 tips on building your SoLoMo presence. So how can you build a SoLoMo presence for your business, for your brand? The first tip, devise a holistic SoLoMo strategy. Okay? So what do I really mean by devising a holistic strategy? I think there are 3 key things that we want to question when we want to start a SoLoMo plan. Always identify your objectives. So what are your objectives? What are your target audience? Who are your target audiences? And what are some of your KPIs? So objectives really refer to like, what are some of the marketing or sales objectives that you're trying to achieve? Are you trying to achieve a growth in sales? Are you trying to achieve brand awareness? Or basically, do you just want to drive traffic to a particular website? So all these objectives have to be laid out beforehand, every single one of them listed out, so that you know what you're trying to achieve. The next one is your target audience. And it's surprising how people actually don't define the target audience. And I still get a lot of who do you want to target? And people will be saying like, oh, everyone. So who is everyone? Because when you're targeting everyone, you're targeting no one. So we have to always target to niche groups of audiences to basically champion that niche and then basically grow from that niche audience, especially if you're a small brand because you have limited budget. And KPIs. So what exactly are KPIs? KPIs will be all the numbers that you have to report to your boss or whatever, or to basically your sales team if you're under sales. So we need to be able to define what are the numbers we are looking at. Are we trying to get a growth in fans? If yes, how many fans? If you're trying to look at lead generation, how many leads are we trying to generate? So all these have to be ironed out even before starting. And next, we often find ourselves at this crossroad, what I kind of call the digital media crossroad, the digital marketing crossroad. It's like, okay, right now I've got all my strategy stuff at the higher level laid out. So what's next? What are the mediums I should use for this campaign? So you have like Twitter, Facebook, EDMs, or should I be even printing brochures and stuff like that? So at the end of the day, right, I think my advice is forwards. Plan big, start small. So don't try to create a presence on everything. I'll give you an example. I met a client, and she was quite proud of what she had. So she basically told me, Leon, I actually have presence everywhere. So I was like, that's amazing. And when I actually checked out the presence, she sent me all the links. LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram. Think of a social platform, they're probably on it. I was quite impressed. But when I checked the numbers, everything was like 1 follower, 2 follower, 3 fans. Then I'm like, okay, when I went down, I said, are you very tired managing all these platforms? And she said, yes, extremely. Then I was like, yes, of course, because you have so many platforms and you have only just yourself managing all these platforms. You have to plan big, but start small. So you want to start with like some of the crucial platforms that's most effective in achieving your objectives and your KPIs. Tip number 2, develop integration and synergy between marketing platforms. So what do I mean by integration and synergy? Essentially, right, the problem with lots of digital marketing, as Forrester actually reports, right, is that technology silos make it impossible to understand both the impact of campaigns and the behavior of customers across multiple channels. Okay, what this really means is that in the digital marketing world, right, we see a lot of times when all these different marketing activities like mobile marketing, social media, website, search engine, is all ran by different people in their own individual silos. And what's the problem with that? They don't talk, and everything does not correlate. You do not get the numbers, like how does this search affect my social? How does my social affect my web? And so on and so forth. But there's a structural problem because when social media came about, it came about so fast that the marketing people realized that they start requiring a lot of IT support, just to unleash your mobile media, for example, your social media, your web. So that is actually the major problem that's causing this issue of technology silos. In reality, what you really need to do is to integrate and synergize. And the idea of integrated digital marketing really involves all the platforms and the channels interoperating in a synergized ecosystem. So what do I mean by that? First of all, you have a website. Is it linked to your social media? Is it driving downloads to your mobile app? Is it kind of like pulling in social plugins from your Facebook? And you have a Facebook. Is it just a standalone? Or is it also driving traffic to your website? Is it driving mobile downloads? Do you have QR codes if you are doing like print advertising? And so on and so forth. So I think that it's crucial to ensure that when you draft out your entire digital strategy, everything is not just integrated, it's synergizing. Third tip, optimize the customer journey. Anyone here familiar with the term customer journey? Okay, a few hands. So I think the idea of a customer journey, right, is really the whole entire interaction between the customer and your brand, okay? And this was something very interesting that Simon Pestrich, I always try to pronounce this Prestige. Simon Pestrich actually said about one thing that he said during an interview. We don't do advertising anymore. We just do cool stuff. We need to become part of people's lives, and digital allows us to do that. And this guy is the marketing director of Nike in United Kingdom. So obviously, right, for a marketing director to come out and say, right, we don't do advertising, right, that's big. And for him to say we just do cool stuff, that's like ultra cool, right? But the truth is, can everyone do that? And what does it really mean when you say do cool stuff? Cool stuff really refers to apps and applications that actually integrates with the life of people. That is your customer journey. So how do you actually define the customer journey? The first thing is you must start mapping out the customer journey through the awareness, when they start finding out your brand, discovery, when they start discovering what's your brand about, when they start finding out, conversion, when they become a real customer, and advocacy, when they start telling people about your brand. So if you haven't been doing this, I would strongly suggest starting to start mapping out your customer journey, and you're going to realize that it's way more complex than you can imagine. How different people, different segments of customers actually know your brand differently, and how different segments of people are going to advocate your brand differently. The crux here is to understand your customer's experience. Optimize your digital marketing and customer interaction strategy. Okay? So essentially, right, you want to, first of all, know, with mapping out the customer journey, you can better understand the experience, and then, next, you want to see how you can optimize your interaction with your customers. Am I doing customer service the right way? Should I be talking to them on Facebook or Twitter? And how should I reach out to these people more effectively? Tip number 4, and the final tip. Always structure actionable performance measurements, okay? And basically, we see a lot of situations where lots of marketers comes up with beautiful reports, lots of numbers, graphs, pie charts, stochastic analysis, and whatnot, okay? But when you start asking the million-dollar question, what next? What can we do based on these answers, based on these numbers? And often the answer is like a blank. Well, just continue what we are doing, improve these numbers. But the crux is, as said by this guy, Philip, don't measure what you can, measure what you should. This goes back to how you tie back to your core objectives. And that brings me to the next slide, which is basically always define your metrics that is very closely aligned with your marketing objectives and with your KPIs. Align with strategy. Make sure that all these measurement is aligned to different phases in your strategy, different mediums and platforms in your strategy. Finally, always derive actionable insights. The key word here is actionable. Do not derive an insight that you look at and all it gets is a blank. Always know what to do with the numbers that you generate. So a quick summary of the 4 tips. Devise a holistic SoLoMo strategy. That's where everything starts. Tip number 2, develop integration and synergy between your marketing platforms. That allows your marketing efforts to be much more effective and synergized. Optimize your customer journey. That gives you a much better understanding of your customer, as well as how to actually reach out to them and reward them, sell to them, or even basically interact with them. Structure actionable performance measurements. At the end of everything, you need to measure and you need to derive actionable insights. And I'll leave you with one statement. Do not venture into SoLoMo unless you have actually figured out how to. Okay, and finally, if you would like to learn more about SoLoMo, social, location-based, and mobile, we actually have this monthly event called SoLoMo Thursday. That's held on the last or third last Thursday of every month. Feel free to check out the website solomothursday.com for more information. SoLoMo Thursday, not Solomon Thursday. Okay, that's what I usually get. Okay, thank you very much. So if you'd like a copy of the slides, right, just feel free to contact me at my email or link me in at my LinkedIn. And yep, Leong here. Thank you very much.